Hey, why? What are the cons to selling print on demand on Etsy? This is part 2 of a 2-part series, or maybe more if you want to know more, ask me. This is part 2. In part 1, we spoke about the pros of selling print on demand on Etsy, POD, and also explained what print on demand was. So if you don't know, you're going to have to check out that video. But today we want to talk about the cons. Nothing is as simple as that. So what are the cons? What are the downsides of selling print on demand on Etsy? Well, number 1 is your profit margins. It can be fairly tiny. Not only do you have all your fees and everything to pay on Etsy, but there's a limit to how much someone is willing to pay for a t-shirt or a mug. So you've got your print on demand suppliers that have a base price for their mug. Most of the time it's a base price and then you're allowed to give your markup. But there's a limit to what that markup can be. Quite simply, how much are people going to pay for that type of mug? And because these are one-off, not large production ranges, you don't get that bulk buying discount unless you are able to sell in bulk. So yeah, you don't get a bulk buying experience that if perhaps you were actually hand printing your t-shirts or something yourself, you might actually be able to get a cheaper price. So actually the print on demand might end up with much smaller profit margins, or you having very expensive items. Your branding type and shipping and stuff is quite limited. Some companies might allow you to drop in a business card or something, but in general, they are shipping your items, so you don't get a chance to give a fancy box, to give a nice unboxing experience to your customer. You're not advertising yourself. If you sell something yourself from your own home, you can put your own business cards in it. You can put a little handwritten note. You can make it a much more memorable experience so they come back to you. In this case, it's coming from the print on demand company. They might get a look at the name of the print on demand company and just get their own stuff printed up. Your product range and quality is limited. Different suppliers have different quality. Some are better than others, and it could end up being quite expensive for you to be ordering off of lots of different companies to find out what good quality is. And so if you're going for a massive range of things, quite a lot of people haven't actually ordered everything that they're offering, or even some of it, so they don't know how good quality it is. How good is the printing? How good do your images look on their items? How good even are the mugs, etc.? So yeah, you're limited to whatever the supplier offers. And those product photographs, again, because you don't physically have these items, they're not really made, you have to figure out how to do the product photography, or rather, in general, it's mock-ups. And these can be pretty bland. There's plenty of companies that offer alternatives, but that's nothing compared to if you made the item yourself. You can take one of your items, like if you were making a party frock, you could take your item to a party and dress up people in your kind of items. You can do those fun lifestyle type photos. The print on demand photos that many people have are bland because everybody else has got the same types of ones, and there's all sorts of rules about what Etsy wants you to use as your product photography if you're using print on demand on Etsy. Competition. I did mention this, alluded to this in my last video. There is a massive amount of people setting up print on demand because they think it's super easy to do. It's the easiest step. It's the easiest way to start your own business. So the competition is so fierce. It is hard to stand out in that. And if you don't, planes going overhead, again, rude. If you don't have experience in marketing and SEO and all this kind of thing, it can be super hard to get started. So I'm going to say for quite a lot of people, if you're doing this because it's easy, it's probably going to be best for someone like original artists who have their own artwork and they just want to expand their range. That can be fantastic. Or people who have a following, like my friend Starla Moore, who has her shop where she sells the merch to her followers. Totally different thing. But it's going to be tough if you're just doing generic things. And if you're not using Etsy, if you just want to do print on demand, but not, for example, through Etsy, if you don't have your own audience, generally you're going to have to drive your own traffic. And this can be pretty tricky to do. SEO is a massive problem for sure. So, yeah, just creating an account on Spring or Spreadshirt or any of these things is not going to guarantee you sales. The one site that might be reasonable to experiment with is Redbubble, that allows you to do this kind of thing, and it does have a good community of people searching and buying things. I have heard people do better off of Redbubble. And big con is dealing with returns. Look, you've got to look into what the company that you're dealing with, your printing company, what they're going to do. But you are hearing from a customer that perhaps an item didn't reach them or it was damaged or whatever else, and you don't know. You're assuming your print on demand company did everything right. So you're dealing with two different places and it can be really awkward to deal with. So make sure you understand all of that. Another one is you need to build a design. This sounds so basic, but understanding the types of files that are needed, what looks good, the number of pixels, but also designers understand the balance of designs and have good ideas for lots of things that you and I don't quite see. So you can do that, or some people do hire designers. You can go on a site, something like Fiverr. It's a bit hit and miss, but you could hire some designers on there. We've seen Mushroom Lamp is a good thing, oddly enough. So you could hire 10 designers to each make you 10 different designs of a mushroom lamp sticker or something. And then you can put them, make sure that you get the rights to do it, and then you can put them in your print on demand shop. But that can become expensive. So either you need the skills yourself or you need someone else to have them. So print on demand sounds like the holy grail, and it can be awesome, and a lot of people do really well with it, but it is definitely a very saturated market. There's a lot of people there, and yeah, another really big con, I nearly forgot the one, is copyright. It is super difficult. People think, oh, I've thought of a phrase, I'll put a phrase on a mug. All sorts of things are copyright. Phrases that you believe are in common everyday use. If you're trying to build up a huge inventory, it's very easy to get stuck with bad phrases. So yeah, copyright can be a massive issue. So yeah, it's difficult. You are going to be a small fish in a very big puddle. So you have to decide, is print on demand right for you? I think it certainly could be, but take into account the pros and cons. Now, let me know in the comments. Have you tried print on demand? Have you come across any issues? Do you see any other cons that I forgot about? There are plenty, I know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.